Welcome to Insights into Insurance from the A-Team at Americana Insurance Group. All information provided is educational in nature and not intended to be acted upon without first consulting the appropriately licensed professional.
It's a Saturday morning, and that means it is time for our Insights into Insurance program here on 1450 KATE. Mike Whitus along with you, and Tom Sorensen from Americana Insurance on this cold Saturday morning. Show number 99 today.
Show number 99, yes.
Next week we hit the century mark, the 100th episode of Insights into Insurance. And Tom, you've got a big promotion going on right now with the jack-o'-lanterns.
Actually, in celebration of our 100th show, we are having a jack-o'-lantern decorating contest, carving or however you want to do it, decorating contest. Bring your jack-o'-lantern down to our office. We take a picture, and we're going to have it on a system where people can vote on the best one, and the winner wins $100 worth of chamber bucks, Mike. And then we also have some second and third prizes. So
there'll be lots of jack-o'-lanterns at Americana Insurance here.
Yes, let's hope so. So bring them on in this week.
All right, let's jump right to our program this morning. We do have an email from a listener, and it says, "Hello, Tom, and Insights into Insurance. I'm a farmer that needs to cut costs of production. One of those items I expense my production cost is my farm insurance cost. However, I don't want to subject myself to bad insurance coverage. Do you have any ideas on how I can cut insurance costs for my farm without subjecting myself to questionable coverages?" And this comes in from Brad.
Yeah, wow.
That's a loaded question.
It's very loaded. Yeah, Brad. Great question, though. And to the listeners, why is Brad asking this question? Well, and again, a lot of the townspeople don't know this maybe, but the farmers are experiencing and have experienced now for 3 years, I believe it is, in a row, high production cost, which is a lot of cost putting the crop into the ground, okay, and low market prices. That's a bad mix.
It really is, and they can be very stressful times for anybody that's involved in farming. And, you mentioned this is for farmers, but for city folks, if we didn't have our farmers, again, when you're sitting at the table and having your meal, you need to appreciate the farmers and what they do go through.
Right, exactly, Mike. So just like anyone, I mean, even the townsfolk, you go through some tough times maybe, and you start looking at trying to budget out things. Well, maybe I don't need that cable TV or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And so right now they are looking at ways to cut costs too. And so I put together some ways that I feel that our farmers what they should do to look at cutting costs on some of their farm insurance.
And one of the first ones is maybe their grain coverage.
Yeah. So do you as a farmer have harvested grain covered on your farm policy? If so, you might have that grain overpriced on your farm property blanket because of the current lower prices. A lot of times we might have had the farmer and met with them 2 or 3 years ago, and let's just say the corn, we put it at $5 a bushel. Well, now it could be, down to $3.50 or whatever, they would want to put that on on their inventory. Well, you take somebody that's got 100,000 bushel of grain on corn that they would be covering. And at $5, that's $500,000. At $3.50, that's $350,000 worth of coverage. That can add up tremendously on premium with that.
And of course, the company or your insurance agent, they don't change those values automatically.
No, we don't. We cannot just go in there and start changing numbers. It's too bad that they don't use that. There isn't an automatic some sort of format that they can go in and automatically take like an average of what the market prices are at that time and switch your insurance coverage. They don't. No, that's not something. It's locked in. It's locked in. So,
all in all, you could be paying a little more for the insurance than actually the coverage you need.
Actually, right. Yeah, absolutely. And so that's the one thing that I would say that one of the first things I would do as a farmer, and hopefully we got a bunch of farmers listening because hopefully they're out in the fields.
I'm sure they are on this
so
Saturday.
that's why I'm doing this, or why this listener email. I got this 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I thought, oh, perfect time. The farmers are out harvesting now. So the other thing I would say on the grain coverage is they need to look at peak season coverage. Okay, if they are covering grain, are they covering it all year round, or are they covering it for, let's say, 6 months? Because some guys normally have a peak season, obviously, right away from when they harvest till maybe March or April. They will have a lot more grain on hand. Well, from April till the next fall, they probably won't. Have they looked at having a peak season coverage during those high level months and cutting and then cutting the grain coverage down during the low level months that you normally have grain on site?
So that's the first one, is the grain coverage. Another
Right.
one could be, have you had your machinery and equipment actually reviewed for farm personal property equipment?
There again, we're talking a blanket coverage. Because the grain can be covered on the blanket coverage, and when we say blanket, we put all the machinery, equipment, livestock, grain on a blanket coverage, and so the farm personal property, the actual equipment, is I would ask my farmers, have you reviewed the values of your machinery and equipment lately on your insurance? Some of these items could have depreciated since the last time you reviewed them. If there has been depreciation, then you could be paying way more for the insurance. So let's just say you had a $200,000 tractor on it, and all of a sudden now it's depreciated to $125,000. Okay, $75,000 taken off that blanket could be, again, a significant decrease to your premium.
And that's just one item. I mean, you have the grain carts and everything else.
Oh, yeah,
and
you should see our list. Yeah.
And so that's why if you're a farmer out there, you need to get with your company, give Americana Insurance a call as well, and they can kind of look at your policy and review. You may find some loopholes. We've talked in the past, Tom, on this 99th program, we've talked in the past about taking and putting that puzzle together, making sure all the pieces fit. And a lot of times, insurance companies, not like Americana Insurance, but they'll see their person once a year, and they don't worry about that person. The premiums are being paid. Americana Insurance does go above and beyond and make sure they're in contact, but not only the city folks on their insurance coverage, but on the farmers as well, as we're talking mainly with the farmers today.
Yeah, meeting with us in doing a policy review is huge, and because with all the things that we can do with a policy review is probably one of the best things to do. Also, we're talking about decreasing coverage or decreasing cost, okay? Well, along with that, too, we want to make sure that there could be something that's not insured, too, and we can maybe get into that a little bit later here. So
let's talk, before we take our first break, Tom, let's talk a little bit about also saving on some costs. That's the cosmetic damage exclusion on some of the buildings, maybe.
Yeah, a lot of farmers probably don't know this, okay, because this is a fairly new exclusion that you can pick, okay? Normally, the exclusions are things that the insurance company puts on your policy, okay? And it's usually not something that you want, okay? But my question, again, to the farmers is, do you have any buildings where a cosmetic damage, example, hail dents on roofs, isn't a concern? So, like, we got lots of finishing barns out there in that. Is the farmer or is that owner of that building that concerned with if they get some hail dents in the roof? Okay, with a cosmetic damage exclusion, the policy would still pay for any structural integrity damage due to hail. Example, like hailstones penetrating the roof and causing a leak. But by adding this exclusion, you could potentially realize significant savings, anywhere from 5 to 20%. Off of the property, off that building. So if you have let's just say a hog confinement building that to rebuild it, it's $1.1 $1 million, okay, and you're paying insurance on that $1 million, well, if you take that cosmetic damage exclusion and put it part of that, that would give you anywhere from 5 to 20% off on that building, okay? Again, if you don't care if that gets a little hail and it just causes dents. Now, if you still get hail and it penetrates and causes structural damage, you still get paid on it. So
take a look at your machinery barns and where your equipment is stored. And again, the damage exclusion is a big concern, and it could save you some money down the road. We're going to take our first break, Tom, on our Insights into Insurance program. We're going to talk a little bit more. Maybe we can touch on some deductibles if the farmer or the city person has reviewed their deductibles. And we'll do that when we come back from our Insights into Insurance program on this Saturday morning here on Kate.
You got a side that wants more space, 'cause every day starts like a race. You got a side that loves that style, but to fit in those shoes gonna take a while. Today life's got you running, tomorrow big things are coming. Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
To learn more about how Nationwide can help protect your many sides, call Americana Insurance Group in Albert Lea and Wells.
Welcome back to our Saturday morning of Insights into Insurance program here on Kate 1450. Mike Whitus along with Tom Sorensen from Americana Insurance. Tom, before we took the break, let's talk about deductibles. And as I mentioned before the break, this is not only for farmers that we're talking mainly about, but it can talk about homeowners as well. And that is, have folks reviewed their deductible policies?
Right, and deductibles obviously that's your skin in the game. Okay, so the higher the deductible, the more savings you can get. Okay, with warning, if you have a loss, obviously that's going to be more out of your pocket if you look at the deductible, if you increase your deductible. Now, farmers, I really, really have them look at that because I guess
their equipment is a lot more expensive than a homeowner.
My guess is, going from a $500 up to $1,000, or from $1,000 to a $2,500 or $5,000 deductible is let's just say kind of small stuff when you're talking, $500,000 combines and stuff nowadays. You know what I'm saying? And so, not to say that I don't want to say that $2,500 or $5,000 isn't a lot of money. It's just that in the whole grand scheme of things, it's very little money compared to what you. So look at maybe possibly saving there. The other thing is bundling. Do you have each of your farm insurance policies with one company or agency? If not, you could be letting money slip through the cracks by not having multi-policy discounts or by having overlapping coverages. There could be discounts that are available that you are not currently receiving because you're not bundling or you're not with the same together with the agency. Also, think about claim. Many bundle policies will have only a one common deductible. So basically, one loss incident, one deductible for all policies. Okay, so let's just say you have a shop fire and you have your vehicles in there and you got your buildings and you got your equipment. Okay, well, you could have multiple deductibles with that loss. Okay, well, if you have it all under one company, most of the companies now have one loss deductible. So instead of paying 2-3 deductibles, you're paying one time. Okay, and some farmers have $5,000, $10,000, $25,000, and I even have up to $50,000 deductibles. To pay out more than one deductible that could be very costly for those individuals. So for Brad, those extra deductible payments would go towards his cost of production. So if he had two $25,000 deductibles, that's $50,000. That would go. He said that was part of his production cost. Well, there you go. You got $50,000 on your production. I'm just saying if they were to have a high deductible like that. So.
And then anytime you want to make sure you're reviewing your policies.
Always review. That's the key. We got guys that come in all the time that they just to talk over their policy, make sure things are going. We love those clients, okay? You would think, oh, God, they're always bothered. We love those clients. So
anytime you make a change, be a farmer or a city person, let's make sure we review our policies. And before we wrap things up, Tom, we also have another thing for the farmers. on the 40 Square health insurance.
Yeah, we offer 40 Square health insurance for farmers, and the annual open enrollment dates are November 1st, 2018 through December 19th, 2018. There is another association coverage we're looking into and researching also, but I tell you what, this is somewhere where you could look at maybe saving some dollars, is give our office a call and ask for Suzanne. She's the one that takes care of our health insurance.
All right, this is program number 99. Next week will be 100th, and bring in those pumpkins, those jack-o'-lanterns. They don't all have to be carved. You can just draw on them.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. So it just whatever you think you can get the most votes on.
There you go. Bring them to Americana Insurance here in Albert Lea. Tom, if they do have questions, they can always give you a call as well.
Yep, 507-377-2000, Mike. They can also go to our website at americanainsurance.com, or they can email me at insights@americanainsurance.com.
Next Saturday, our 100th show of Insights into Insurance. There'll be lots of festivities, balloons, I'm sure, and lots of fun on our next Saturday program.
Could be a happy hour.
Could be a happy hour. We're all in.
All right.
Tom, as always, try to stay warm today.
Yes.
But the weather looks good for the farmers, and that's the key thing. And, folks, farmers are out in the fields. Please give them plenty of room for their harvest equipment. They go a heck of a lot slower on the county roads than you're used to driving. And, Tom, as always, we want to make sure those farmers stay safe.
Absolutely. Stay safe, boys and girls.
That'll wrap up our Saturday edition of our Insights into Insurance program here on Kate 1450.
You've been listening to Insights into Insurance from the Americana Insurance Group. All information provided is educational in nature and not intended to be acted upon without first consulting the appropriately licensed professional.